Hello, and welcome to our conversation on the plug theory. Now, the plug theory is a little known theory about why the world is, in fact, the way that it is. The plug theory can explain why every war has been waged, why every explorer has left the comforts of his own home and country and gone forth to explore, and why every conquistador has drawn sword and conquistadored. What the plug theory says is that every country has a plug. I'm talking about a plug like one you would find in your kitchen sink or your bathtub. And just like that bathtub plug, if that plug is pulled for the country, the whole country will go down the drain and sink back into the ocean. Now, I know that many of you may not believe me right now, but it makes very logical sense. You see, Atlantis once had a plug. It was a viable country, as you can see in this top photograph. But after the plug was discovered and pooled, all of the country sank back into the ocean, and Atlantis turned from fact and reality to fable. I feel that further evidence of the plug theory can be seen in its military advantages. As you may know, Switzerland is known as a neutral country. They do not enter war with other countries. They do not take sides in global conflicts. And that's because they have no investment in attacking other countries because their plug is so well protected. The picture you see on your screen right now is a picture of the Swiss Alps. This is a mountain range located in Switzerland, and this is where Switzerland's plug is located. If you look to the right side of your screen, you'll see the dip between the two mountains in the Alps. Switzerland's plug, I believe, is hidden underneath 2,000 feet of snow in that mountain, which is why they don't have to enter war. No country wants to trek up the mountain to pull their plug, so they are relatively safe. We can also see evidence of the plug theory in the economic implications of it. Now, in the 1800s, Spain and America went to war. However, they fought this war in Cuban territory. I believe that they did this because they were fighting over Cuba's plug. They both wanted the economic advantages of Cuba, and they both wanted to control Cuba's plug. So they fought over that plug and got very close to pulling it before the war was ended. Now we're going to pause for a discussion with your classmates about the plug theory. And we're back from our discussion. Now, I hope your discussion included a question. And this very specific question that I hope you asked is this for real? And if you're asking, is this for real, then you're evaluating the information you've been presented with. Another way to evaluate information, instead of just asking, is this for real, we could be asking, is this authoritative? Is it relevant and appropriate? And is it unbiased? Now, looking at each of those, authoritative has to do with the source of the information. Is it an author or a speaker who we can trust on this subject? Are there citations in the material that tell us, yes, this credible source is telling us this is true? We also have to ask about relevance and appropriateness. Now, relevance has to do with when the information was published or posted. Appropriateness has to do with, can we understand the information we're being presented with? So if there's a lot of technical jargon or a lot of academic vocabulary that you don't understand, it's not appropriate. It's not something that you want to use to gain more information. You would want to find something that's more appropriate to your academic level. We also need to be asking ourselves, is this information unbiased? Is it something that I can trust? Or is it a source that's trying to make me believe a certain thing or buy a certain thing or buy into a certain thing? Because if there are biases present, we know we're not getting the full story, and so it's not the best information possible. So let's look at these three things in the context of the plug theory. Is the plug theory credible? Is it authoritative? We saw that the author is A. Martinez-Cosboom, M.E.D., but we were given no additional sources or citations for the information presented. The photographs didn't even have citations, which makes me think that maybe this isn't the most credible source. We can also look at the relevancy and the appropriateness. The information was published in 2015, and understandable language was used, so maybe it passes a relevance and appropriateness test. We also have to ask ourselves, is this information biased or unbiased? Now, if you listen carefully in the presentation, you hear a lot of I think and I feel, and that tells us that there's a bit of a bias in that information. So really, we have relevance and appropriateness as a yes, unbiased as a no, so we really need to dig into that authoritative piece. Is this something we can trust, or from an author we can trust? Now, if you did some digging, you would find that A. Martinez Cosboom, MED, is none other than your local librarian, Miss Martinez, who happens to have a master's in education. Now, while she has a master's in education, she does not have advanced education in economy, geography, or global politics. So something like the plug theory is going to have to be backed up by some hard evidence if we're going to believe Miss Martinez when she talks about it. So now we can go back to our 3 questions. Is it authoritative? No. Is it relevant and appropriate? Yes. Is it unbiased? No. So we see that it does not pass the credibility test, so this information is, in fact, not credible. Please do not go home and say the plug theory exists, because it was, in fact, a lie. I hope you guys have enjoyed this. Have a nice day.